The imperial dreadnought Vengeance of Xylos hung in the void like a god forged from obsidian and wrath. Its hull bristled with plasma lances, gravitic cannons, and enough firepower to glass a continent in minutes. Around it, the 7th Armada of the Galactic Hegemony, a coalition of 17 advanced species united under the iron rule of the Cathar Dominion, formed a perfect battle crescent. Their target, Sol System. Their mission, subjugate or sterilize. For centuries, the hegemony had cataloged species by threat level. Humans, level 2, primitive, emotional, illogical, barely spacefaring when first contacted a decade ago. They'd politely declined hegemony integration, citing something absurd like freedom. The Dominion had chuckled, marked Earth for eventual annexation, and moved on. Until today. Admiral Vrakthul of the Cathar, his chitinous face unreadable beneath his command helm, watched the long-range scanners flicker. A single vessel had emerged from the Ort cloud. No stealth field, no cloaking, just raw velocity. It was massive, bigger than the Vengeance, and it was human. Impossible, hissed Sub-Commander Zell, a slender avian with iridescent feathers now ruffled in alarm. Their largest recorded ship is a frigate class. This is a dreadnought, a planet cracker. Vrakthul's mandibles clicked. Scan it again. Full spectrum. The tactical display bloomed with data. Hull composition. Unknown alloy, radiating residual chronoton particles. Propulsion. No visible drive plume, yet it had crossed 3 light-years in under an hour. Armament undetectable. Shields were actively jamming hegemony sensors. But the silhouette, it was unmistakably human. Angular, brutalist, almost industrial, like a floating steel mill forged in desperation. Then a transmission crackled across all frequencies. Not encrypted, not modulated, just raw, unfiltered audio. This is Captain Elias Vance of the UNS Retribution. You are trespassing in sovereign human space. Turn back now. The bridge of the Vengeance fell silent. Laughter from a level 2 species? At the 7th Armada? Vrakthul's voice dripped with contempt. Identify your vessel's class and surrender your command codes. Resistance is illogical. A pause. Then dry as Martian dust. Negative. You've got 5 minutes to leave. After that? Well, let's just say Earth's got a new moon coming. The transmission cut, bluff, Zell declared. They have no fleet, no allies. No hope, Vrakthul agreed. Open fire. Target their bridge. Disable, do not destroy. The hegemony wants specimens. Plasma lances roared to life, converging on the human ship in a storm of superheated death. The beam struck and vanished, hot deflected, absorbed. The Retribution's hull shimmered faintly, then glowed cherry red before cooling instantly. What in the void? Zell gasped. On the human ship, Captain Vance stood on the command deck, arms crossed. Around him, crew moved with calm precision. No panic, no shouting. Just focus. On his screen, the hegemony fleet's energy signatures spiked as they recharged for another volley. Shields holding, Captain, reported Lieutenant Chen. Kinetic buffers at 92%. They're barely tickling us, Vance nodded. Good, let 'em think we're just tough. Keeps 'em guessing, he tapped his comm. Engineering, how's the package? A gruff voice replied. Ready to party, Captain, reactors humming like a pissed-off hornet. Back on the Vengeance, confusion turned to dread. Their scans now showed something impossible. The human ship's core was emitting tachyonic radiation, faster than light particles. Theoretical, unstable, suicidal to weaponize. Admiral, Zell's voice cracked. They're charging some kind of singularity projector. If they fire that, impossible! No species can stabilize a micro-black hole. But the humans weren't firing a black hole, they were firing time. With a sound like reality tearing, the Retribution unleashed its main battery. Not energy. Not kinetics. A wave of chronoton distortion pulsed outward. Not as a weapon, but as a field. The hegemony fleet froze. Not physically. Temporally. Ships hung motionless. Crews suspended mid-breath. Plasma bolts crystallized in vacuum. Only the Retribution moved. Vance watched the frozen armada on his view screen. 10 seconds of localized time dilation. Just enough to say hello. He opened a new channel. Broadcast to every ship, every species in the hegemony database. His voice was calm but carried the weight of a species that had stared into the abyss and built a ladder out of scrap metal and stubbornness. Listen up. We're humans. We invented fire, then split the atom. We walked on our moon before we figured out how to feed everyone on our planet. We're messy, we're loud, and we really don't like bullies. He paused. You came here thinking we were primitives, that we'd roll over. But here's the thing about humans. When you push us, we don't break. We adapt, we build, we fight, and sometimes we build things that even we think are crazy. He gestured to the frozen fleet. This is just a warning shot. Next time we won't stop time. We'll rewind it, back to when you were still deciding whether to come here. The Chronoton field collapsed. The hegemony fleet lurched back into motion, systems screaming alarms, crews disoriented and terrified. Vrakthul stared at the human ship, still just sitting there, silent, unharmed. His tactical officer whispered, Admiral, their reactor signature, it matches nothing in our archives. It's like they're burning vacuum energy, Zell added, voice trembling. And their hull, it's regenerating. From nothing. Vrakthul made his choice. All ships, withdraw. Full retreat. Now. As the hegemony fleet scrambled to jump to FTL, the Retribution didn't pursue. It just turned, engines flaring with impossible blue-white light, and vanished toward Earth. On the bridge, Vance allowed himself a small smile. Let 'em run. They'll tell the others. Lieutenant Chen frowned. Do you think they'll believe them? Vance chuckled. Doesn't matter. Next time they send a fleet, they'll bring twice as many ships, and still won't be ready. Because humanity's secret wasn't better tech. It was nerve. The kind that looked extinction in the eye and said, hold my beer. I've got an idea. And somewhere in the galactic core, 1,000 alien empires began updating their threat assessments. Level 2? No level unknown, designation do not poke.